My child, set down the letter fear has been writing about you. Fear has been drafting a story where you are forgotten, erased, and one mistake away from being crossed out. But my word says in Isaiah 49:16, I have engraved you on the palms of my hands. You are not held in pencil. You are kept in my hands. And right now, as these words reach you, I want that older, deeper writing to become the place you stand. Come a little closer. There is nothing you need to settle before you are allowed to be here. I'm not waiting for you to feel peaceful before you draw near, and I'm not asking you to come with your worry already solved. Come with it unsolved. Come with the page still in your hands, half finished, still anxious. That is exactly the kind of heart I lean toward, not the one that has rewritten itself into something presentable, but the one honest enough to bring me the draft it is actually afraid of. Before this is over, I'm going to read you that line in full, slowly, the way it deserves to be read. I want it to do for you what it was always meant to do, and I want to show you why your heart keeps trusting the frightened page over the permanent one, why the words fear writes feel so much more real to you than the words I engraved long before fear ever picked up its pencil. So, let me begin where you actually are, not where you arrange yourself to be when someone asks. I see you. I see the one who lies down at the end of the day and cannot stop the mind from drafting tomorrow's disasters in advance, rehearsing the conversation that has not happened, the bill that has not come, the diagnosis that has not been spoken. The worry does not even feel like a choice anymore. It feels like a duty, as though by going over every possible loss in your head you are somehow standing guard against it. You wake already composing the list. You fall asleep, still revising it. There is the one of you who keeps a tally on a screen, the small running sum of what is left after everything else is paid, doing the arithmetic again at the table because the number did not soften the first 3 times. There is the parent lying awake, listening for a footstep that has not come home, writing and unwriting the worst version of the night. There is the one who reads an unanswered message 6 times, searching the silence for a verdict, certain the quiet means something has gone wrong with them. The single one of you who watches other people's steadiness through a lit window from the cold street, sure that whatever holds their life together was drafted for someone else. None of that is hidden from me. I am not reading your situation from across a room. I am near the part of you that has run out of words for what it is carrying, the part that stopped trying to explain itself even to me because explaining took a strength you did not have left. I know the hour it gets loudest too. For some of you it is the dark middle of the night when the house finally goes still and there is no task left to hide inside of, and the worry rises and starts writing in the silence. For some of you, it is the moment right before you walk into a room where people need you to seem fine, and you arrange your face in the hallway and decide to keep the worst of the page to yourself. I see the cost of that composure. You do not have to keep up the performance with me. With me, you can let the page show. And let me say something about all that anxious drafting you have done. It was not stupid, and it was not faithless. You were trying to protect what you love. You learned somewhere that if you could only foresee every danger, you might be able to stop one of them. And so you turned your mind into a watchman that never sleeps. The trouble was never that you cared too little. The trouble is that you were handed the job of writing your own worth with a trembling hand, and no one ever told you it had already been written by mine. But listen carefully. Fear can draft, but it cannot engrave. Hold on to those 2 words for the rest of this message, because the whole difference between your panic and your peace lives in the space between them. A draft is provisional. A draft is meant to be changed. What I have done with your name is the opposite of a draft. Soften your gaze for a moment as you listen. Do not fix your eyes hard on anything in the room. Let them rest, half open, the way they do when you are not bracing to read the next bad line. You do not have to make anything happen. Just let the staring stop. So much of your worry lives in the eyes. the narrowed, scanning look of someone always checking the horizon for the next threat. Let that look loosen by a degree. It is its own small honesty. It tells me what your mouth has been too tired to say, that you are weary of standing watch over a page you were never meant to write alone. Now hear how the prayer has changed. It used to be long. It used to have real words in it, the kind you meant. Some days now it is only a breath pushed at the ceiling, a sigh you are not even sure counts as prayer. It counts. I have read every one. The sigh you think is too small to register is the one I lean closest to hear. I never needed the eloquence. I needed the heart, and the heart is in the sigh. And here is something you have not let yourself notice. The worry promised you control, and it never delivered. That was the bargain you struck without meaning to. Foresee the danger and you can prevent it. Run every loss in advance, and you can be ready. But name one thing the worry has actually stopped. One. The nights you spent rehearsing disaster did not move the disaster an inch closer or further. The arithmetic you ran a fourth time did not change the sum. It took your sleep and your peace and gave you back only the illusion that you were doing something. I am not telling you this to shame you. I am telling you because I want you free of a debt that was never buying you anything. So set down. For now, the idea that you're watching is what keeps the people you love safe. It never was. I have been awake the whole night you were awake, only I was not rehearsing the loss. I was holding the ones you were afraid for, the same ones whose names are written where yours is. You can lay the watch down. The watch is mine, and I know where the frightened writing began. The picture of me you have been carrying was drawn for you slowly, over years, by hands that meant well and by hands that did not. You were handed a version of me who keeps a careful ledger of your performance, who reads back your failures, who files you away at your worst. A god of accusation, whose record of you is mostly a list of where you fell short. So when fear started writing its own cruel account of you, it did not feel like a lie. It felt like agreement with a God you already believed was keeping score. I want you to know with everything in me, that is not who I am, and it is not what I have written. The record I keep of you is not a list of your failures. It is something else entirely, and I will show it to you before this is done. But first I have to take the false page out of your hands, because as long as you believe I wrote it, you will keep reading it as the truth. So here is the lie I want to break with you, gently, because it has been loud and it has not been kind. You came to believe that you are whatever your worst season says you are, that your identity is a sum you are responsible for keeping positive, and every loss subtracts from it, and one bad enough chapter could erase the whole account. You have been living as though who you are is a balance you have to defend, a name that could be crossed out if you slipped badly enough. So you guard it. You perform. You over-explain. You apologize for taking up room. But your name was never yours to keep positive. Here is where the false page loses authority. The version of me you inherited would have you believe that your standing depends on your record, that you are loved on the days the page reads well and quietly written off on the days it does not. That is not how I hold you. That is fear holding the pen and forging my signature at the bottom. What I have written about you does not get revised when you fail. It was set down once, in a hand that does not shake, and it has not changed since. You are engraved, therefore you are kept. Let that sink one layer deeper than your feelings can reach. Kept is not how you feel on a given afternoon. Kept is where your name is written, and where it is written does not move with your mood. Picture, for a moment, the difference between two kinds of writing. There is the writing fear does, frantic, provisional, always being edited, scratched out and rewritten with every new fear, never finished, never sure. And there is the writing I do, slow, deliberate, cut deep enough that it cannot be erased, the kind of mark that is not added to a surface, but pressed permanently into it. Do not confuse a loud draft with permanent writing. Fear writes you in pencil and keeps erasing. I have written you in a way that no eraser can reach. Hold that picture for a second before you move on, because everything I am about to tell you turns on the difference between those two pages. Here is what the false picture stole from you most.